Mannpower. No, not Manpower, you idiot. Mannpower. A game mode in TF2 that's so niche, I've only managed to find a handful of videos for it, 3 of which are talking about how broken the game mode is. Nevertheless, I wanted to teach players that are either new to the game mode or simply haven't played it at all, how to play Mannpower and show them which power-ups are just theirs so they don't feel left out, and which ones are literally worth dying for. And I've made it my goal for this video to get people into Mannpower, and what better way to reach to the public than through the best media known to man. 3D scatter dot plots. Actually, you know what, now that I'm looking at this, we should probably just stick to the tier list. The way I'm going to be rating these power-ups is by a thing called practical application and circumstances. Basically, what that means is I'm going to rate the power-up based on how good it is, and then have a little graphic down at the bottom of the screen to show you how useful each power-up is per class. Now note that this is just for reference, there's only a finite amount of detail that can be conveyed in something like this, not to mention my lack of skill compared to most people in Mannpower. So just know that these are not the only things I'm using to determine their rating and tier placement. Ready? Okay, let's go. Now, because I don't like the S through F tier list, you don't really get any sort of information out of that, we're going to go through this set of tier lists right here. Always powerful means it's literally always powerful, you always want it. Generally a good choice are power-ups that are usually alright. Sometimes there are better power-ups for better classes, but you will always want a power-up in here no matter what class you are. Sometimes situational is power-ups that are sometimes situational. Certain power-ups have certain effects on different classes. Occasionally worthwhile are power-ups that are usually not all that worth it, but still do have some uses with classes. Rarely worthwhile are power-ups that, like the name imply, are rarely worthwhile. These are power-ups that are only super great on specific classes. I'll touch on more of that soon, since it's literally very soon. And then Revelations 8:10. I know some of you were looking at that, and that will be explained when the time comes. Okay, let's go. Agility is a bit of a weird case because it's always a good choice, but at the same time, not. I'll split the difference and put it in occasionally worthwhile. Basically, what agility does is it makes you deploy speed instant. That's literally what it says on the wiki. If we go to that here, instant weapon switch. So, like, even if you were to have the Fist of Steel out, it would still be an instantaneous weapon switch. It also increases your movement speed by 50%, makes you jump higher than Michael Jordan, and it makes you immune to fall damage, which Scouts are already immune to fall damage, so, you know, credit where it's due, I guess. I will note, though, that for whatever reason, spies in particular get really good use out of this, for the sole fact of them having increased grapple speed. Actually, you know what? I tucked myself down. This is like really only good on spies. So, you know, yeah, down there you go. Haste is one of those ones that is always a good choice, like always powerful. Actually, no, it's always a good choice. Basically, what Haste does is basically everything you do is fast. You fire 2 times faster. You reload 4 times faster. You air blast double speed. Flare guns, Flare guns, with the exception of the Man Melter, are boosted 5 times, so you can effectively flare punch pyros with little to no effort. The Man Melter's a bit bugged with it, so it only has a 2 times rate. The Huntsman refires 2.5 times faster. I haven't played with the Huntsman, so I'll have to check that out. Your clip and ammo count is doubled, and much like Haste, your movement speed is increased, but only by 30% as opposed to 80%. Sticky Bomb's arm 2 times faster, so basically every bomb you lob becomes a quick bomb launcher, but, you know, more damage. You gain Uber for 2 times faster, you zoom in 2 times faster, and charge 3 times faster. Unfortunately, it does not affect Pyro's primaries, which is why I like it, but I don't at the same time. It's an unfortunate case. Whenever I have Haze and I'm Pyro, I usually just spam scorch shots because it's funny. But usually when I have Haste, I roll with something, my shortstop loadout. Shortstop, babyface, or not babyface, shortstop, pretty boys, and candy cane, because the amount of firepower you can put down range with Haste and those two is fucking insane. And when you get low enough to, like, if you like take chip damage, just unload your magazine and you will regen any health you would have missed without even having to really aim all that much. King is one of those power-ups that I would say is always a good choice. Generally a good choice. This is one of those ones that is good on certain classes, like for instance Medic. And what King does is it increases your max health. So if you're Medic, you have 250 health. If you're Heavy, you have 400, etc, etc, etc. Firing and reload speed is increased. Scopes charge 1.5 times faster. And I know Haze has double Uber charge rate, and King only has 50%. But King is better for Medic because of the AoE healing. When you go to your Medic, you generally want healing, and if he can't heal you because he's healing a Heavy, you just have to stick around him and you'll regenerate health. The only downside I would say though is that you do need a power-up in order to have any of these effects active. You need to have a power-up as well. Every class benefits from regen and reload and firing speed increase, but Medic definitely is far none the best choice for the King power-up. Knockout has had a troubling history with Demo Man. If you're aware of the video Solar Light made on Mannpower, you know what I'm talking about. But basically what happened was Demo Man, specifically Demo Knight, got heavily nerfed. Normally he would have 325 health, but if he even just has a shield equipped, it immediately just goes down to 30. And if he has the Eyeliner to half Z equipped, it goes down to 20 as well. 80% of your shield charge is reduced. Charging is only little more as a last ditch. I'm gonna die of damage over time, and I need to get rid of it
It's a debuffer in effect. It's a last ditch debuffer, because even if you get something like, even if you have like the most efficient thing for demo night, the Tide Turner, the Alibabas, and the Claymore, you're only getting fractions of your chargeback. Like there is no saving demo night with a knockout. So for that, I put it down and occasionally worthwhile. I will note that other classes like heavy and soldier have not been nerfed. So whenever I have knockout, I usually run 3 weapons. I either run conch or battalion's backup and equalizer. Now the equalizer is actually a really good weapon with knockout, because melee weapons deal 1.9 times their base damage. So whereas normally the equalizer would be doing 33%, it is now doing 62%. At base health, mind you, at base health, which for soldier is 350, but 62 health, or rather 63 damage, but 63 damage is nothing to scoff at, especially when you get knocked to Timbuktu and your power-up is immediately taken from you. And as well, if you manage to be brought down to low health, that 63 damage hit goes up to 200 damage. You can do upwards of 200 damage as soldier. I am not kidding when I say I have gone on sprees as knockout equalizer soldier. As well, I will note that certain weapons are also changed in Mannpower. Not just demo night stuff, but like even some like battalion's backup. Battalion's backup is you gain rage. You get rage whenever you're healed by any healing source, like dispensers or medics. So if if you use the equalizer or the escape plan, you can taunt and survive, even without the extra health of the battalion's backup. It will the taunt will only do 300 damage to you, and because with knockout you have 350 health, you will be left with 300 health with 50 health remaining, or 70 health if you have the. Actually, no, I think. Yeah, you always have 50 health.
Hi, post-editing trade here. I actually lied about that. The taunt will do 320 damage, leaving you with 50 with the battalions and 30 with the conch. That's all.
You can survive your own taunt kill with knockout. So, you know what? I've talked myself up. It is sometimes situational. I like knockout. It is a good power up. Plague is always a good choice. Actually, yeah. Plague is. I don't have to look at the wiki for this. Plague Plague bleeds the victim for Plague bleeds the victim for whatever their max health is. They will always die in a set amount of seconds, regardless if they have regardless of whether they have 400 health or 125. They will always die in a set amount of seconds. You have a massive range to get health packs, which does include through walls. Touching an enemy infects them with the plague and their nearby teammates in a 350 hammer unit radius. And you get a massive damage resistance against victims you have infected. And it blocks the King's health regen and team buff. But I've rarely seen that worthwhile. The victim will always die in 10 seconds. Unless they pick up a health kit, which if you're following them and they have reflect, if you're following someone who you infected with plague and they have reflect, there is just no winning. There is just no winning. If you're the guy they infected with reflect, you will die. There's just no end to it unless you drop your power up and pray to God you make it there in time, because regardless whether they drop your power up, you will still be taking a fuck ton of damage. But if you're the guy who he infected with reflect, just pray to God you make it, and pray to God he doesn't latch onto you. So that's why it's always powerful. Precision. Now I know some of you are looking at these and thinking, oh, one of the other ones belong in Revelations 8:10. Like strength or supernova especially. No. Precision goes up there. Precision is the only power up that I would say needs to be nerfed. It needs the equalizer treatment. It needs to be split into two. Because it needs to be split into two, and it needs to be heavily nerfed, because precision removes damage fall off, makes your scope charge 3 times faster and deals double damage, makes your rocket travel 2.5 times faster, increases your blast weapon's clip size, and makes you immune to self-damage. And no blast radius fall off either. So you're effectively just dishing out 90 damage regardless of range, regardless of radius fall off. And if you happen to play sniper and happen to pair it with the bizarre bargain, you can dish out 900 damage in like not even a second. If you have max heads with the precision, you can dish out 900 damage in not even a second. I do argue that sniper is not overpowered, but with this power up, he is overpowered. And for those of you who haven't looked it up yet and are not Christian nerds, let me read you Revelations 8:10, which sadly is not as cool as Revelations 8:7. The third angel sounded his.
Then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water, because it was made bitter.
It's not nearly as cool as Revelations 8:7, but it is effectively just the end times. It is the only power up that I hate to fight against. I hate using it. I hate fighting against it. Whenever I use it, I feel bad for the enemy team. And mind you, I scorch shot spam with the fucking haste power up. But whenever I use this, I just feel bad for the enemy team. There is no fucking way around this. You cannot, like, unless you have a vaccinator Uber fucking shoved up your ass, there's nothing you can do against it. I think even if you do have a vaccinator medic up your ass, you're just fucked. You're just fucked. You're dead in like 2 hits. There's no combating a fucking sniper, a fucking bizarre bargain sniper with precision. It is complete bullshit, and I wish it was fucking nerfed. Moving right on to reflect. Reflect is generally a good choice. Yeah, actually, I'll move it again. I'll move it up from King. I'll move it up from King because Reflect is the only power up that I have managed to kill someone by the name of -576, like long ass bar thing, metahuman. He is the sole reason I have a huge hatred for precision. He is borderline cheating. Reflect is a very simple power up. Your max health is increased to 400. Regardless of what class you are, heavy, sniper, spy, medic, whatever, it is always increased to 400. However, whenever you have a weapon that decreases your max health, it doesn't increase your max health to 400 if you have something like, for example, the kunai, the big runner, the sandman. Anything that decreases your max health normally will stay decreased. 80% of damage you receive is, get this, reflected back to your attacker. However, this will not kill him. It will leave him on 1 health, but it won't kill him. And 100% of the damage you receive from a sentry gun is reflected back. So this will kill a sentry gun. If you deal damage to someone, you will go careening back. You will be thrown back as if you were knocked out by the knockout power up. So yeah, it's generally a good choice. Regen. I think I put it in sometimes situational. Cause here we go. This diagram right here explains it. As scout and spy, you regenerate 128 health per second, which effectively means unless you take massive focus fire or take enough damage to deal more than 125 health in 1 shot, you are invincible. One of my favorite things to do, actually, especially when I'm bored and I'm on CTF Hellfire, is to just sit there as scout or spy and just sit in the Hellfire, sit in the lava. It's fun. I don't think you can survive it as engineer and sniper because you don't get as much health, and it decreases the more health you get, unfortunately. Heavy is obviously the least effective. Heavy is obviously the last class who would want regen, because 64 health per second is a lot, but not really when your enemies can do 180 damage in 1 shot, or 900 in 1 shot for that matter. I would argue the people who want it most though are medics, snipers, and scouts. Medics, spies, and scouts, and engineer. Engineer really wants regen because regen will fully replenish your ammo and metal supply every 5 seconds. If you have regen, you don't have to go back to spawn. You don't need any health packs. You just have to wait for like not even that long, like 2-3 seconds max, and you have full metal again. I'm gonna put this in generally good choice and put this one down in sometimes situational. The resistance power up is a pretty good one. Generally good choice, I guess. Always. Yeah, actually, yeah. What resistance does is it increases your effective health by double. You have 50% resistance, and you're immune to crits and backstabs. It nullifies any form of crits, which does nullify precision. You're immune to plague and reflect, which is effectively a hard counter to reflect and plague. However, you are still knocked around by reflect. Strength is going to the top of always powerful. Reason being, strength gives you double damage. Double damage and fall off immunity. Unlike precision, however, it does make you immune to self-damage or immune to blast radius fall off. It is not, however, affected by crits, but it is affected by mini crits. The buff banner does not work in Mannpower. It's the damnedest thing. It will not. I don't get it. Every class would like double damage. Supernova. Now, I know some of you are looking at this and thinking that's also going to the top of Revelations because it's super busted and it stuns people for like 5 seconds and knocks power-ups off and does all this crap on it. I actually have a controversial choice. It is not that good. It does some people like the Sandman did when it was first introduced. You can't walk, you can't move or nothing. You usually use it around so many people that you can't kill them all. And unless you communicate with your team and your team goes in with you after you use it, it's not very good. The only time I've ever used Supernova to any effect really is whenever someone has precision. I did use it to okay effect in the Cult of Bison episodes, where I would stun someone and then shoot them with the bison, but that didn't really do a whole lot because it's still a bison. Supernova charges over a minute or 400 damage being done. So if you're like Cloak and Dagger Spy, just grab it and wait around for a minute. It's not really that hard. Or if you're the go in type, just do 400 damage. That's literally just a reflect kill, and boom, you have Supernova. Vampire. Vampire is situational, and I'll tell you why. Because basically what Vampire does, the damage you deal is given back to you as health. Usually it's 1-to-1. And the reason why I say usually is because specifically with pyros and heavies primaries, the damage you get back is only 0.558 times as much health. And melee attacks return 1.25. All damage is returned as health. This doesn't pair well with things like the kunai or the half-zatuichi, because overheal, quote, diminishes almost instantly. All you kunai and half-zat mains, don't pick Vampire. It's good for getting health back, which especially for someone like me who enjoys Black Box Warrior loadouts, it's good, but it's not good in the long term like it would be normally. You also have a 25% damage resistance, and your max health is increased by 80. At any point, you're at an advantage as long as you're not pyro or heavy. Vampire would do well with the loadout that I kinda hate. It's effective with the Black Box Warrior, but instead of the half-zat, you use the escape plan. Because with the Vampire, with the conch, you return back so much health that you're not going to die. You're also immune to reflect, and blast weapons are increased by 50%. So, you know, Black Box gets 4 rockets instead of 3. So that's why it's sometimes situational. Actually, yeah, generally a good choice, because every other class but pyro and heavy get back all their health with damage they deal. Revenge power up. Now, yes, this is actually a power-up. It only happens once in a blue moon, though, because it only happens when a significant game imbalance is detected. Basically what it is it's full crits and double damage to buildings for 30 seconds. So because of that, I'm going to put in sometimes situational, because it is, by definition, sometimes situational. You only get it when a significant imbalance is detected. Alright, that is the Mannpower tier list. This is actually a little more well-rounded than I would have thought. I honestly thought like a lot more things were gonna go in generally a good choice. But I guess not. If you like this video, remember to like, and if you disliked it, your opinion is invalid if you don't play Mannpower. And with that being said, have a good one.